You're listening to the Beyond the Dojo podcast. I'm Lauren.
I'm Jeremiah.
Something that we've noticed, or I've noticed, well, actually, I think we've all noticed in our black belt class on Mondays is everyone has their, like, quirky little thing that they do, and what we tend to do is at the beginning of class, everybody kind of create their own Kihon combination, and we go down the line, and every person will state what their combination is, and they count everybody through it, and then we do it on our own on the way back, and then we go down the line, and we do that every single class. And it's funny because this past Monday, we get like 3 people down the line, and Mick comes up with this like spinning whatever kicking thing, like crescent kick into spinning back kick, and we all like always rag any person that does any kind of spinny stuff, and we start ragging Mick, and he's like, I'm just trying to get it in before Ken does, so hopefully he doesn't do any kicks. And what's funny is that Ken has like knee replacements and shouldn't be kicking like that. I think it's just one. It shouldn't be kicking like that, but anyway, I think Shotokan practitioners, we just like to beat ourselves up is what it is. So so we wanted to spend today's podcast, this is more of an episode for people who maybe aren't karateka, or maybe you can share some of these ideas with people in your community or parents or whatever. These can be talking points, but we're gonna be on the fly kind of coming up with some comparisons and some red flags for how to tell if someone is a scam artist or a martial artist. Yes,
interesting.
I think we all have a couple of ideas in our head, but we're gonna try to flesh this out a little bit. So I want to go first. So one thing I think can be a red flag or can be an indicator of someone being a scam artist is someone who tends to pop up in your community and say that they teach a certain martial art, and then they just maybe disappear after a certain amount of time, but then they come back again, and all of a sudden they're teaching a different martial art, and it's all hype and fun and whatever, and they try to get their community together. So I don't know if everyone realizes that it takes a long time to like get really good at a martial art enough to be able to teach it. I mean, I've never really heard of one that's really that basic. So yeah, if you have someone doing that in your community and they're popping up and teaching one martial art and then disappearing and coming back and teaching a different one, they're probably a scam artist, not a martial artist. But if you have someone who pops up in your community and they teach one martial art or a couple, and that's all that they do is just that, and they don't disappear and come back, and they're probably a martial artist, probably legit. I'm definitely not talking about someone specifically by any means.
Right.
But anyway, there's one.
Okay.
There you go.
Might be a scam artist if the entire dojo looks exactly like the teaching.
Okay.
And people go, what? That could be a good thing, right? Since the teacher is the most qualified or highest ranked in the dojo, and everybody looks exactly like them. But to me, it's a red flag, right? Because you're not teaching the art; you're just saying, "Look like me, do like me, imitate me." And I would just say, be careful of those. Be wary of those egocentric, old school kind of everything is about the sensei kind of dojos. That might.
So everything kind of centered around the sensei. You mean like?
Yeah, you just gotta think of like about your sensei, from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
What was that guy's name?
Rex Kwon-Do.
Rex Kwon-Do, right? If it's sensei centric, you might want to like. If it's overly sensei centric, cult like centric, sensei centric, it's a scam artist.
Fun fact. Well, I was going.
Well, let me finish.
Okay, well,
if you go to a school,
to Rex Kwon-Do. But anyway, go ahead.
But if you go to school and there's a steady rotation of qualified teachers at your dojo, each teaching in their own way and really influencing the community, you might be that might be a martial artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Some dojos don't have that capability of having more than one instructor. Yeah, just break our furniture, it's fine.
Some communities don't have that opportunity, but most dojos do. Most, I mean.
No, I don't think so. Have more than one teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But even if it was just one teacher, then being able to like still teach to the person and not just having students mimic them for sure is like a sign of a good teacher.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sure.
But some teachers are just bad teachers.
Mm. Well, then
they don't intend to be scam artists. They just aren't that great teachers.
Well, then they got to be honest with themselves. They are really scamming someone. I mean, the reality is, it's the time to take the honesty pill, right?
Yeah.
Like, you suck, don't teach.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think another one would be, and this is kind of similar to the first one that I said, but if there's already existing martial arts in an area and they kind of pop up and they're all of a sudden teaching the same thing.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
So to me, that's an indicator that they're looking at the community and they're like, oh, there's a market for this martial art. I should say that I can teach that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why so many like weirdo like McDojo places pop up is because they're like, oh, well, karate's well known. I'll just call it karate. I'm sure that could be a different one, a different point. Mm. But anyway, if they know that a community already has some established martial arts and they're trying to capitalize on that existing market, just, red flag. If it already exists, just be wary of that. I think I'm not saying that a good martial artist or a good teacher or a good solid sensei, I'm not saying that they're going to only teach something that's unique. I'm not saying that because sometimes it's just going to happen that someone's going to show up and there's going to already be a karate dojo and they want to teach karate too. But I'm just saying, be wary. That's what I'm saying. Okay, Jeremiah's turn. We got an axe to grind here. This is what it's happening.
It's obvious who has an axe to grind.
Yes.
All right. He might be a scam artist if he has a wall of memorabilia.
Okay.
That's at least 20 years old.
Okay.
And unrecognizable from the current state to the former glory state.
What do you mean?
Like overweight and out of shape compared to fit and prime.
Wait.
The wall of glory. Pictures and medals and trophies and Dawn certificates and pictures of it with significant people. That might be a scam artist. If they're trying to I'm just saying what I'm saying is if they're trying to oversell you on their achievements, might be a scam artist.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah.
Like when they say, I coached students to the collegiate level, and there's no collegiate level in karate, might be a scam artist.
Yeah. Like making up ranks and shit.
You can, I taught many students to be world champions, and it's their kids, and they only competed in one tournament.
Yeah. And
it was an online tournament.
World champion of such
online
and such.
kata tournaments.
World champion of Hodunk County.
Hey now. Hey.
He might be the world champion of Hodunk County. Might be a scam artist. So what would the martial artist version of that be?
Generally, if you're that good, you don't have to tell people. Other people generally tell or spread your rep for you. You don't have to say anything. Other people do it for you.
Right. You don't have to blast it on your wall or on your social media feed in some cases. Yeah,
it's uncomfortable, and it's like someone walking around with a picture of themselves on their T-shirt. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like that's me. That's me. But that's what I'm saying. Is if they sell hard, they might not be.
So kind of similar to some others that like talking points we just talked about. If they're of a pretty low rank, sometimes you'll notice that people will do a whole bunch of other things to kind of mask the fact that they don't have a lot of experience. Like maybe they're only a brown belt or a shodan, which in Shotokan is not super high level and usually doesn't have a ton of years. Maybe have like 4 or 5 years of experience, maybe more. But if they don't have a lot of experience or they're not of a decently high rank, you got to look out for that as well. That's one of those where it's like you will have to observe the person, because some people are just not super high rank, but they're just they've trained a long time and they're decent karateka and they can teach well. But sometimes it's someone who trained a little bit, got too big for their britches, and decided to start a dojo. So I have seen and experienced that. So just be wary. If it's a lower, ranked person, you got to be careful. But on the flip side, they could be a person who claims to have some crazy high rank, like some kind of 7th or 8th dan in hootie wuddy whatever martial art they or their sensei made up. So, maybe let's just a general umbrella as far as ranking. Be wary of any of it. Don't judge them by their rank, whether they say they're a shodan or a 7th dan. You should probably look at their actual movement and their actual teaching and things like that. So, yeah, I think that's people will scam you that way.
If you have a history on the Better Business Bureau, you might be a scam artist.
Oh, somebody does. Who was that? I'm trying to remember. Did we have to have somebody that did? Was there somebody that has history on that Better Business Bureau? Is that where this is coming from?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of like when we went car shopping. we were like double checking. Like,
well,
you're trying to throw some of this dirt.
No, I'm just trying to remember. I'm like, we did have an issue with somebody on the BBB, but it was car shopping. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if your dojo is on the Better Business Bureau, then that's probably a bad thing.
It's probably a bad thing. So.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if we are. I haven't checked.
I
don't know. Do you just get on the Better Business Bureau, or do you have to? Like,
wow, that would really suck if we were, because then we just ask ourselves.
I don't know. Oh gosh, I wasn't thinking ahead. Hold on, I gotta come up with one now. Let's see. What else here?
If you're training out of someone's garage, might be a scam artist.
It could be. I mean, it also could be someone legit who doesn't want to pay for a dojo, or doesn't want to pay for a space. Like, that's one of those. I'm not sure. You think that's kind of slimy?
Look, you want to teach? You pay your overhead.
Oh, right.
You do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just want to train, your buddies want to come over, that's one thing. But if you're teaching classes out of your garage, come on, man.
Yeah. Oh. Look, I'm saying this, and Jeremiah and I have a pretty, extensive Christian background. If you run your dojo and you say that it's a ministry, or you are saying God told you to do this, that, and the other, that is red X's and flags everywhere. Because I've read the Bible cover to cover, and I ain't never seen nothing about God saying, you should open up a dojo. And I get that things are, I'm not. Anyway, no, I don't agree with that at all, because that, to me, that is another example of someone using like ambiguous authority to say that they have the right. I don't know. Anyway, I've seen that before as well, and it basically they play on people's emotions and on people's sympathies, and they're like, well, you should support our dojo because this is a ministry and we're doing this, that, and the other, and whatever. And no, what you're doing is a business, and you can function that business in the sense that you are ministering to people. But once again, if you're putting it on blast that way and you're saying God told me to do this, and so I came and started this dojo or whatever, or this is a ministry for blah 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 blah, when you're putting that on blast, to me that's very much a what did Wolf say? He was talking about standing on street corners and praying out in front of people from the Book of Matthew. So anyway, so if you're putting it on blast like that, not only do you have some spiritual issues, but you're also probably a scam artist. So there you go. Martial artists are usually a little bit more humble, and their actions speak for themselves. So
yeah, I would say that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a true martial artist is someone that is genuine in their actions. It's not perfect, but they intend well. They mean well with what they do, and are humble enough to kind of say, you know what, I messed up here or there or whatever, to right the wrong,
Right.
I would say that is what a sign of a martial artist, ideally.
Right.
So.
Scam artist is going to be someone who, maybe more often than not, is screwing you out of money. And that could be having you pay... Well,
that's the whole point of the scam, is to get paid.
I assume, or it's to stroke your own ego. But, because I've seen that too. But if you're having to pay for equipment that you don't need, or that you don't use very often, or you're paying... I get that some people, they price their exams pretty high. But there's like an industry norm, I think, for exam prices, and for Q exams to be like hundreds of dollars, or low-level exams, or, whatever, or competitions, or I don't know. Yeah. If it's not karate, I don't know how they do that kind of stuff. But if they're having you pay for stuff that you don't really need, that's a red flag. Also, if they take your money and then they don't show up to teach your class, or they dip out of town and they got your money in their pocket, they're probably a scam artist. So watch where your funds are going. Usually, like, what we try to do, just saying as an example, what we try to do is set very clear expectations as far as what is to be paid for and how much money we hold. And we even have, I even take issue with people paying too far in advance, because I don't want to have someone's money and something happen and they can't come to karate or whatever. I would rather they only pay so far in advance. That is it. And then, we'll cover it again once we get to that point. But I guess that's not necessarily the best business tactics, but it's more to cover our butt and to be people of integrity. So
yeah. Well, we run our business a little different, though.
Yeah.
Our goals are different. Our
we want to survive long term.
We're after long term, longevity.
Right.
We're not trying to make the biggest bang. We're just enough to survive, raise a family.
Guys, we do make money elsewhere. That's not our sole
income. Alms for the poor.
We're just doing the minimum to get by. But if you could just
we're doing what God has called us to do.
Buy this Kumite package because God told me that you should. And He said that He'll bless you with winning all of your tournaments. If you just buy this package.
The golden gloves.
I don't actually have the equipment here, but if you could just give me the money. Yeah. Anyway, what's on?
I'll get you a black belt in 6 months, but you have to pay me 6 months in advance.
Yes.
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 Just saying.
So, we have a crying baby. Should we pause?
Yeah.
Okay, pause. Okay, and we're back. Where were we?
We were talking about
how poor artists. We are. What?
Oh, what?
Oh, it's your turn.
Oh yeah. If the sensei is constantly beating you up, scam artist.
Yeah, sounds like you're a punching bag.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No, but I've YouTube.
Oh.
Stuff like that.
Oh, McDojo.
Yeah, McDojo Life and all that.
Yeah, dude, kids getting killed and stuff.
It's
horrible. Yeah, that sounds like a huge scam. Yeah. Well, kind of piggybacking off of that, pretty much just go watch the McDojo Life page, any of their social media pages, and you'll see lots of scam artists. But any sensei that doesn't have boundaries, whether it's emotional or physical or whatever, boundaries with their students, male or female, run. Because it's not only not a safe environment because of the person that they are, but they're just scamming you out of money. So even if they know anything, even if they know some kind of martial art, if they don't have any kind of physical boundaries, or they're making you uncomfortable, get.
Yeah, their intentions are definitely wrong, right?
Yeah.
So, it's getting harder and harder to think of these.
I know. Covered a bunch. That's another one. Let's see. We've covered quite a few.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any more. I mean,
if the teacher has all the answers, scam artist.
yes.
If he has all the answers immediately, he never has to think about anything you ask him.
Or never has to double check.
Or never have to double check or research. Scam artist.
Well, with the caveat that if your teacher has already proven themselves to be a master, which is rare, but does happen, they may have all of the answers. But
yeah.
But just some local punk, no.
No, well, I'll say this. If the answers that your sensei gives you lack depth, they might not be a scam artist, but they're definitely not what they claim to be.
Or if they're just like, it's that way because I said so.
Yeah.
And they can't provide any kind of intelligent reasoning.
Yeah.
Then, I don't know, sounds pretty scammy to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If there's not really any structured instruction, you're dealing with a scam artist. So if kids are just running rampant if kids are just running rampant and just fighting each other or whatever, or they're playing stupid games, or there's not really a real structure or point to the class, kids or adults, you might be dealing with a scam artist. Because there should be some kind of goal, some kind of teaching point to the class. If there is a sensei, which means teacher, if there's a teacher in the room, then you should be learning something or practicing something.
If there's 6-year-old black belts walking around the dojo, they're a scam artist. You're dealing with a scam artist.
Or some kind of crazy prodigy, but probably a scam artist.
More than likely a scam artist.
Yep. Yeah. What's another one? We covered a lot. The money thing is big. Yeah, and really bad instruction. I'm trying to think of any that are not extremely specific to the person that I'm thinking of. Because I don't know if anybody else does this kind of thing. So something that happened to us is, there's a local scam artist, and they actually copied, at one point, the first time that they came to town, they actually copied our entire system. So they not only claimed that they were a karate teacher when they weren't, but they also copied our payment system. It wasn't the same prices, but the layout of everything was the same. So it was obvious, like, okay, where'd you get that from? So, there's not really any way, I don't think, a innocent bystander would be able to tell that they copied their entire system off of another dojo. But that was just kind of the last thing that popped into my head was, if you're seeing this repetitive, like, copying of other people because they don't have original ideas, no originality, maybe, you're definitely dealing with a scam artist. The other thing is, you gotta use your intuition.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, like, if you don't have any background in any kind of martial art, and I'm not just talking about karate, but other stuff as well. If you've never been exposed to it, it's hard to know what you're looking at. But if the person communicates like they're kind of a narcissist or they're full of shit, they kind of sound like that. Like, if you're full of shit of radars going off or whatever, you're like sirens, you're probably right. This is your full of shit radar. For the people who are listening, I'm just waving my hands next to my head. So anyway, trust your gut. They might be full of shit. What do you think?
My radar's going off.
Is that your full of shit radar? Yeah. Sirens.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay, so what you working on?
Oh gosh. Still working on the 5-punch 1-step. Still working on.
At least you didn't say like I said last time, 5-step 1-punch.
Yeah, well, because obviously I'm working on it and someone isn't.
I am working on it. I'll get to mine in a minute. Go ahead.
Anyways, and then I changed to Empy as the kata for the week in 2 weeks next week's.
Okay.
It was Empy with the ankle weights and wrist weights. Surprisingly, that made me pretty damn sore.
Empy's a weird kata, man. It's got some really strange. It's one of those that's got weird stuff in it.
Yeah, weird movements, and it just weird.
Still kind of blows my mind that a lot of our Kihon is just so basic, and then these black belt katas are like, where the hell did that come from? Just hand and leg movements off from left field somewhere, and you're supposed to do that. I don't know, it's just strange, man. Weird hand positions, and like the age thingy, punchy thing, the rising punch and Envy. Yeah, that Suki.
Age Tsuki.
Egg Suki. Age Suki. Mm-hmm. That one. That's a kind of a weird one. And the open hand thing, and anyway. I guess that's why it's higher level.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, we were talking about MP and the hand thing, and I just thought about the conversation we had last Monday, and I rolled my eyes inside my head.
I don't remember the conversation. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. There's lots of interpretations of some of the movements in MP, so some interpretations make our eyes roll.
Yeah. What you working on?
So I'm still working on the 5 punch 1 step combination, and my foot is starting to feel better. I still have my mom's shoulder, my left side. Being a mom's dangerous, yo. So I've been actually, I did it once. This is terrible. I tried to do it more than once. I have a reminder set on my phone to try to spend a few minutes each day working on the combo. Or working on something so that I'm more consistent. Because doing any, like, the problem is that whenever we train, which is on Mondays, the baby says, I want to go to sleep. And so she cries. And so, like, this Monday, we had a system of, when we were doing our Kihon up and down the floor, I would do up the floor while Jeremiah held the baby, and then we would switch, and I would hold her, and he would go back down the floor doing Kihon, and then come back up again, and then we would switch, and then I would go down again, and we just did that for like 30 minutes, down and back, and so it's just difficult to, really concentrate on what you're doing, I guess, but we are at least getting the reps in, just trying to make sure that we both have a chance to train.
Well, that's normal, though.
Right, I know, I'm not
the ebb and flow of training, you're never going to be training like top elite level all your life. That's just it's not going to happen.
But I am trying to just make sure that the concept stays fresh, and I was like on the cusp of improving a few things, so I want to kind of keep on working on some of that. So still that same 5 punch 1 step.
Now that you could say it,
combo,
probably might be
one
better
punch.
at doing it.
Flying, running punch. 5 step 1 punch. Like you're fucking jousting.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Good job.
I always make fun of our kids whenever they punch and then step. Because, like, I think of A Knight's Tale when they're jousting. And I'm like, what are you, jousting? And I'm like, what is jousting? I'm like, oh my God. Go watch that movie. Anyway. All right. Well, that was fun. So hopefully you don't encounter any scam artists anytime soon.
If you do, just kick them in the...
In
bye!
In the bye.